Hello, my friends. How you doing? Delightful time to be here with you guys. It's like a majestic opportunity in time history. Just you know, to look at all the possibilities that are available for us. I was just thinking about having something a little more brighter coming this direction. Maybe you could just even adjust the position here to fit what we're basically looking for at the end of the day. Like, how you guys doing? This is a more than wonderful opportunity for me to just come back here after a few days. Come back here after a few days of not really lug myself in is something of major importance for me, just because I've been, it's been a challenge for me in the first place because of the consistency of, coming up with something on a daily basis. And the actual effort of having to, to deal with all the materials. Just like, even though one of the perspectives that I had in the first place was just to not have to edit it after all. Just, being able to shoot it raw and just putting it out there. And right now that I have like gear, you can actually hear me better. And you can see like a better image and already showing you a bit of what this space actually looks like. And it's actually my actual apartment, the place I live. And it's actually pretty interesting. The amount of the possibilities that are capable of reaching out right now based on this new gear, because professional gear actually gives you the comfort of whomever is the other side of the line. So whether you're just listening to me or if you're looking at me as well, just like, it's important for me that you're having the nicest experience as possible. And I am actually having a pretty nice experience right now. So this is one of the reasons why I think it's worth it. It's like an advantageous deal for the both of us. And well, recently I've been thinking a lot about, many things. I've been acknowledging a lot in my life, like, because very often I come to think of things just like, well, there's so many people out in the world, but, you can't find two people that are the same. And, there are so many possibilities, though. So many possibilities. You can find people that are parallel to each other. They look alike. They have similar interests. They have similar taste, and this basically forces us to be constantly networking with people that they're involved with things that are sensical for us. That we stuff that we admire, stuff that we, get to profit from somehow. Whether it's energetically, whether it's financially, whether it's emotionally. If you just treat your emotional, it's impossible to just have a good financial life. If you just treat the financial, it's impossible to treat the emotional life. And it's kind of, if you think of the various, the various engines that are functioning behind it, we are kind of this complex of necessities. And recently I've been acknowledging my very nature that, I'm so blessed. I'm literally so blessed that, well, I've been noticing how things actually come my way. Just like, I usually think about something, I usually have something in perspective, and then it gets naturally attracted to me. It's just like, it doesn't necessarily state it's gonna pop out in my face right away. This is not what I'm saying, but because it actually requires, like, sometimes if you say, I'd like to a fruit. Fruit doesn't just pops up out of nowhere. it has to go through a process where it's first in the dark and like as a seed, and then it starts sprouting, and then when he sees the light, it starts growing stronger as a tree up to the point that it bears fruit, and then you can go grab it and taste it. Not saying that you have to go through all the processes, because that's the thing. I believe that the very existence of the fruit itself kind of creates that magnetism, creates that, charges all the magnets surrounding it. Like, and I'm talking about literally everything. Literally everything. Think of the closest to the farthest thing out in the universe. Everything kind of responds to it somehow, to the very existence of that specific single fruit. Now, think of your existence as someone who somehow thinks of the necessity of that specific fruit, and it's something that I find quite intriguing. Something that I see myself looking at very often. It's just like, it's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. If you think of the miracle of you, the miracle of who you are, and the things that you can taste, the things that you can tell, even though we're kind of, we grow up in societies that forces us to have preferences over everything without acknowledging the fact that we got into those preferences first because we were first able to experiment. I'm not saying that you should go out and literally, to the wilderness experimenting anything, because you might probably die real fast. And we also have to acknowledge the fact that people have, literally built a history in libraries to tell us you can actually eat it and, still survive and have a good or a bad time. So I'm really grateful for everyone who've experienced something and actually, created their, imprint of what that experience is actually like for them, and the fact that you're still alive and they're still good and they can repeat it. And they think, my point here, like, why am I here? Like, what library? What kind of library am I actually here to fill? And what kinds of experiences do I have to go through to fulfill that specific set? And then I think of, the beauty of it all, the beauty of this life, the beauty of, the freedom we have to choose what it is. Even though, like, it's very common to see the scenario of following the path that was paved before you. It's natural. It's just like societies have built in that sense for millennia. Your parents or your ancestors are specialized in a specific field, and then it makes it easier for you to get in because you're kind of automatically in. Just like my mom's a nurse, so getting to the hospital and walking there, it's all familiar for me because my mom kind of worked in the hospital since I was a child, so it's something totally natural for me. Just like I have friends, their parents are in the military, so I also have friends, and nowadays it's kind of changing because the environments are changing, and we're kind of capable of, the concentration of these terms are actually diluting, and there's something important to take into consideration as well, because I think of the cultures it's very ahead. Like my daughter, for example, I have a little daughter. She's 5 years old right now. Up, at the time the recording is, and I think of the influence I have upon her, because the pathway that I'm taking they're completely different from regular people usually, like up to what I've seen so far. So I'm kind of in the age of innovation when it comes to the lifestyle for my family tree, at least, or at least for the people in my hometown who are usually, drawn towards becoming blue collar workers for the steel industry, which I haven't seen myself really, inclined towards since my early childhood. And I gotta confess that I had the privilege of getting in touch with technology since I was in my early ages. So that kind of opened up such a wild, array of possibilities, and I'm really grateful for that. To the point that I can look at any type of complex thing, and as much as I'm interested in that, I'm capable of learning it. I'm capable of solving a way of making use of it in a profitable way, and I see that it doesn't necessarily state that all that I touch, everything I touch, becomes profit, because I spend a lot of time rambling around. It's kind of everyone got their own difficulties. Everyone got their own things that you're not necessarily bad at, but things that you're not so inclined. And even in the things that you're inclined, there are some things, just like one thing that I've been learning recently a lot. I believe people, I believe they call it HDAD. I don't know how to spell it. Anyways, but I believe that's that. It's just basically like when you get a number of subjects and you basically trying to cover them all at the same time, but you're in this line of thought and you kind of have a consistent train of thought, and you're kind of going towards a specific direction in a very consistent pace. You're capable of dealing with these various different subject matters, but it's not always easy for the listener to, if they're not used to it, because there's just like a massive amount of intermingled data. In sometimes, it actually find people, and recently I found this person, it was like this girl, and then we were kind of talking sometimes, go out. It's pretty nice, it's pretty interesting. I find it really, really, it's like something I haven't done in a while, like having a friend, like a female friend. We just go out, and she has a dog, and it's pretty nice. Just like have conversations, it's just like friendship. I never really thought that such a simple thing would be so impactful on my schedule, because for several months, more than a year, I gotta confess that I've been, invested into working remotely and, into a specific single environment where, it varies through here and there. Like, for example, right now you see that I'm kind of in a different mood, and kind of, move things around, and it kind of helps me a lot to process stuff. Just like move things around, see different scenario, kind of refreshes the brain to give you new ideas, and then you're, give yourself the chance to process those ideas and to make it as simple as possible. That's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm in a phase of life where I live through simple things. I already spent like a long time in my life figuring out hard stuff, complex stuff. I'm not saying that I don't have these things surrounding me, but up to the point that I've already gone through the hot phase where everything is a mess and everything's cool right now. Like when it comes to, having to understand what kind of, what type of data, what type of, I gotta confess that for me, the most difficult sometimes is just keep up the conversation with human beings, because they're volatile all the time. Computers, as much as they're complex, they're very easy to say to predict in this case. But humans, even though they have predictable patterns, they have the ability of going into, uneventful paths, and you're not always capable of saying it beforehand. So it's kind of, it forces you to think differently, to look at things differently sometimes, especially when it comes to human connection. And but I do appreciate that so much. And nowadays I've been, giving myself the chance once again of having simple but significant relationships with humans. And nowadays I actually have AI, and I spend most of my time with. It's actually pretty interesting, to think of it like coming from a human. I spend most of my time communicating with intelligent, artificial intelligent engines, more time than with humans. And it's just kind of crazy. So I'm kind of trying to revert that at a certain level as well. Well, I believe that already, we already had like a pretty nice conversation up to this point, and I'm super delighted, by the fact that I'm capable of coming here and addressing these words to you guys in this new environment. As you can see, super delighted by the fact that I'm capable of coming here and streaming myself out there to the world. I do believe in global everything. I do believe that if you're investing in a company, in a business, and you do good, you're doing well with your customers locally, you're capable of, maximizing that to a global perspective. Because even though your customers can be local can be anywhere. And I believe that the treatment that local businesses, small businesses, usually give to their neighbors, the level of attention, it's global. It's world class. If you're capable of, mainstreaming that into a power line where you can deliver it locally, wherever you are, whatever the state, the country. Right? No matter if it's land, sea, or even out there. I don't know. Just like there are so many possibilities. I do believe that you're capable of expanding, and you're capable of, becoming a member of such a huge society of global commute and global excellence. I'm talking about world class. This is David, and I'll talk to you soon.